Hello, my name is Terri Lee-Shield. I am host of online learning space Love School, where we learn to love ourselves, others, and everything. In this little video, I'm going to explain my foundational understandings of how to create conscious love for our own natural holistic healing and to create healthier relationships. I would like to explain that all my understanding has come through my personal experience, through different certifications, different explorations, different understandings that I've done both professionally and personally. I'm also very intuitive and get a lot of information psychically and through channeling, and the information that I present comes from there. So it's either something that's potentially going to resonate with you or it's not. If it's not for you, that's fine. But as far as I have been able to understand, once I was really able to grasp this information, it's radically transformed my life, my own healing journey, how I am able to show up in relationships. And it's really helped me to support other people on their healing journey and how they can show up in relationships. So I would like to start by saying that the basis or the most effective symbol I have been able to find that kind of explains the energies I'd like to talk about today is the yin yang. And it's been adapted for our Love School logo because to me it's that important. It is the foundation of love. It's the foundation of creation here on earth. And I'm going to share this little symbol with you. I'm going to share our logo so you can have a little look. This is it. This is our Love School logo. And as you can see, I've changed up the colors and I've changed up the shape. And that's for a very specific reason. Because what I understand and how I understand life is that it's made up of three archetypal energies. And that is just the foundation of all life and creation as we know it. It's made up of masculine, male, feminine, female, and child energy. In order to create a child, to create new life, we need male and female. We need masculine and feminine energy. And that creates new life. And as that new life grows, it expresses itself and becomes whole through being able to create its own version of a balance between the masculine and feminine energies. That very simple understanding is at the foundation of everything that I teach and share on this subject. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about it because every aspect of this logo, every aspect that I've changed about this is important. It means something. It has a meaning. Obviously, when we talk about child energy as well, we have boys and girls when we're born. I understand that there's nuances in there, and this is not a debate about gender. If you feel really strongly that there is no gender or that we're all mishmash of gender, this is probably not for you, or maybe you're not ready for this conversation yet. We are all unique expressions of life. That is absolutely true, but we cannot biologically create new life without male and female, masculine and feminine energy. We also cannot create a new life that is an adult. We have to have life created as a child that grows into adulthood. These understandings are biological foundations, and the more that I've been able to understand them and work with them, like I say, the more effective my healing and relationships have been. So I want to just share a little bit more about this image, this yin yang, this logo, because as you can see, I've changed the colors. I've changed the colors because they represent the different aspects of our energy in a much more vibrant way than the black and white yin yang. I kind of explained that in a different video. And for me, the black and white represents light and dark. It represents consciousness and our unconsciousness. And I've explained that in a different video, okay? I'll put a link, if I can link that onto this video in the description. What I'd like to explain is when we're looking at the yin yang in this form, same in the other form with these colours, you'll see within each one is a little dot. Now the dot within each of the bigger dots represents the child energy. And we can create a balance, wholeness in and of ourselves using all these energies and being aware of all these energies, much like ingredients in a cake. Okay, we'll come back to this again. If you think of humans as cakes, there are lots of different variations of cakes that we can make. Chocolate cake, Victoria sponge cake, lemon drizzle cake, cherry cake, coconut cake, gluten-free cake, right? There's so many different kinds of cake, but the foundation remains the same. You cannot make a cake without eggs, flour, butter, and sugar. You might be able to substitute some of those ingredients, change them a little bit, use them in your unique way, but actually the main recipe for a cake doesn't change that much, and the foundational ingredients are the same. What changes is the flair, is the flavor, is the combination of how we use it, and that is how we express as humans. So yes, we can be unique, we can express in different ways, we can have different amounts of these ingredients, and we can pull them out at different times to enhance different flavors. We can add different aspects to it, all of that, but foundational. We are all born as babies. We have to grow through life, growing as children before we can become adults. And energetically, when we consciously look at the energies that have moved through us as we grow, we can become, well, I became very, very, very aware of these three different kinds of energies: masculine, feminine, and child. And then more so, there's also the masculine and feminine version of the child. There's boy, girl, man, woman. And we can need, well, in fact, I do think we need to. It's not me imposing my opinion on you, it's just a suggestion. And if you want to find wholeness and healing, look specifically at how you are using these ingredients and these archetypal energies as part of our development. So boy and girl energy, man and woman energy, masculine, feminine energy. They are very specific, and they are very much tied to the development process and the physical expression of us as men and women and as boys and girls. So I'm going to break it down really simply, because there's a whole courses at Love School that really explore this, that really allow you to explore this, to get in touch with this yourself. But just to understand, and again, I'm talking about archetypal energies, and I'm going to make them as simple as possible. Of course, there's nuances, but the nuances, like I say, that's your unique flair. And what I'm looking at right now is the ingredients. Boy energy at its core is about being bold, it's about being selfish, it's about doing what you want, when you want, adventure, exploring, getting what you need is boy energy. Girl energy is about openness, creativity, exploration. It's about giving and really embracing life, creation energy. Man energy, masculine energy. Masculine energy directly links to what is the physical energy, the physical conditions that need to exist for a man to reproduce. That's how I define masculine energy, and it's not really debatable. Talking about your sexual function here. If a man wants to have sex, what does he have to bring to the table? So masculine energy is about directness, assertiveness, hardness. It's about repetition. It's about giving. Masculine energy beyond sex is also what sort of energy does the masculine have to provide when a baby is created? What is that energetic role? It's protection, it's providing, it's creating a safe space, it's holding that space, it's making sure that the family unit, that the child and the mother are not subject to any harm or any interference from external environments, and that they have everything they need within that environment. Feminine energy, when we look at feminine energy related to the sexual activity, what is feminine energy all about? It's about receiving, it's about openness, it's about softness, it's about accommodation. And then when a child is created, what is the role that the feminine has to bring to raise that child? Nurturing, giving, feeding. These are the energies that are non-negotiable and non-debatable. Now, okay, fine, you can say, well, you know, if you take out the breastfeeding, anyone can feed a baby with a bottle. But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the confusing modern conveniences that we've brought into life and pretended make life easier to understand because they give us more options. Okay, they do. And we're not subject to the same physical binds that we were as we developed, but evolutionary wise, we always have been, and we have evolved to really deeply want to fulfill these roles, to really deeply give what we are intended to give to life. Now, of course, like with the cake, you can put whatever flair on that you want. We do have choice now. We can add different ingredients. We can create different flavors. And it's up to you and your partner to create those flavors. But to find that wholeness, to find a cooperative, holistic, a healthy environment within ourselves and then within a relationship, we really do need to be aware of and balance these energies. Some people perhaps do this naturally, okay? And again, if they're just like, nah, I don't need to consider that, I'm good, this is not for you. But the people who are struggling, the people who really think, maybe there's some more I need to understand about myself, about relationships, and about what I'm bringing to them, this will really help. I want to go back to show you and explain a little bit more about this yin yang logo of Love School. In this logo, the red here is actually the feminine energy. The feminine energy is red and fiery, and it's red and fiery because it links to our sacral chakra. It links to the womb space of a woman. It links to that binds her to her body. A woman's body is physically subject to a much more harshly physical environment. She has, not only does she go through a massive life change with puberty, she then is subject to a monthly cycle every single month where she can get pregnant. If she does get pregnant, the body has to go through a massive change there where she literally has to give her energy to produce a child. She then has to nurture that child through her body. And then after all of that child rearing time has to go through menopause again, which massively changes her body again. A woman's physical experience is much more complex than a man's, and a woman's physical body is subject to much more pressure than a man's. It's just another fundamental reality of our life. Because of that, a woman has to consider a lot more. She has to be able to use her brain a lot more, to think in lots of different ways, because she's constantly has to be aware of these ever-changing aspects of herself in order to stay safe as she develops, as she grows from a girl into a woman. So this is part of the reason, and there's some brilliant images I haven't actually put them together. I might do another video on them, about the difference between men and women's minds, men and women's brains more physically and how they operate. A woman's brain is much more active than a man's brain. And that is because she has this really complex physical experience to navigate. This is why it's represented here in this fiery, sacral, orangey, red, yellow and orange energy. In order for a woman to develop, makes much more sense for her to develop from the base and grow into her consciousness. Boy energy is at the core of every girl. Everything is in balance or is seeking to find balance. So at the core of every grown woman, what she is protecting is that vulnerable boy energy within her. That boy energy that has wants, has needs and desires, and is prepared to do anything to get them met. That is what a woman subconsciously is protecting and is driven by. Let's look at the masculine energy, which is blue in this. It's also blue and watery. And a lot of people associate water with femininity. There's lots of intention why I've mixed this up, because there is balance within all things. So the blue masculine energy represents the role of a man. The physical reality of a man is easier than a woman. He's physically stronger. He has a body that is more adapted to be able to accommodate earth more easily. He's not subject to as many changes going through his life. Okay, a man goes through puberty and then yes, there's slight cycles and fluctuations in hormones and things that a man has to go through, but it is absolutely nothing like what a woman has to go through. A man doesn't have to sacrifice his body to have children. He just needs to give a little bit of himself and gets to enjoy doing it. And life is created. It's a very different experience to be in a male body than to be in a female body. This is why a man is expected to use much more of his mind in a much more practical way. He has a much more direct and solid view of the world and role in the world, which is to make the physical aspects of life for the women and children that he's protecting safer and more enjoyable, to make it a bit easier on them in order to create new life. Because let's face it, if you're going to be creating life with a woman who's already having a struggle as she's getting pregnant and growing and giving her energy to a baby, it's up to you as the man to provide that space where she can do that safely and have some sort of enjoyable experience doing it, where she's provided for, where she's kept safe from other men. Part of the role of men is to be strong, to be predictable, to be solid, and to be able to really understand the needs of the body. And he uses that in a very specific way in his mind by tapping in to the physical needs. Now, it's much more easier for a man to develop from the consciousness down into the body. So he can master his mind first, then master his body. And for a woman, it's another way. At the core of every grown man is vulnerable girl energy. Energy that wants to be creative, expressive, exploratory. And he knows it's his role to protect that energy. Okay. So I've tried to explain in a simple way I can the foundations of this energy mix that make us up as humans: masculine, feminine, and child, boy, girl, man, woman. And how, when we break them down and really look at the archetypal energies of them, we can start to consciously choose which energies we use and be aware of what energies are working in and through us, and then be able to adapt to that. So this is where the black and white of the yin yang comes in, with the life design, the conscious creation, using our mind to create strategy, to create processes and methods to be able to do or understand or bring to light the drives that are required from our bodies, our shadow work, our unconscious mind, our patterns and behaviors. When working with these different kinds of energies, I found my own health and well-being to be able to improve massively, and to be able to not only navigate relationships much better, to be able to understand them better, and be able to choose how to respond much better to create healthier, more harmonious relationships. Thank you for watching this video. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can comment or ask me directly. That's fine. I'd be really interested to see what you think about it. And if you're interested in knowing, understanding and learning more about the life design, conscious creation and the shadow work that I can help support with, also at Love School, watch the other video that I've just made. Thank you very much. I'll see you in another video.